Hey, let's talk about it with Lisa J. You won't break my soul. So, today has been a very long, interesting day. If you are following my page, you know I went live earlier to tell you that, as I said, tomorrow's the anniversary of my husband Arthur's death, and that I went to a party that was going to be full of people from his church. So I felt a little bit uneasy, a little bit overwhelmed, but I really love the lady whose birthday it was. So it's her 90th birthday. So I said to myself, I'll put myself together and I will go. And it actually ended up being a very, very nice experience. I ran into two gentlemen that were really very, very long time friends of his, and they were really happy to see me. So that ended up working out excellent. So, to the topic of my discussion today about you won't break my soul. So, I've been having a little bit of a struggle over the past, I would say, couple of months. And this is not a rare thing for me. This is not an unusual occurrence. From time to time, these kind of things happen to me. So what happens is I feel like I'm living my life, minding my own business, really just wanting to be a blessing to people. And then what happens is, as I'm minding my business, living my life, just, hey, you need me, no problem. I'll show up for you. And I feel like I kind of expect sometimes that when people act like they're your friend or they act like they want to work or collaborate with you, like I kind of believe people when they're like, oh yeah, we could work together and everything will be great. And, sometimes it doesn't really work out that way. People want your gifts, they want your talent, but they don't really want to give you any creative control, I guess. Or they just want to keep you as a number two. They want to keep you in like a subjection kind of place with them. So sometimes it doesn't really work well. And it's not because I'm always trying to take over. I feel like when I start helping people, because people know that I'm doing it from a sincere place, that the people who we're trying to help generally will be like, yeah, Lisa's a cool girl. She's nice. She's friendly. We like her. And sometimes the people that you're working with, they kind of can get jealous. They get jealous because other people like you. Other people value your opinion. Other people speak well of you. And for people who have a hard time making friends, for people who have a hard time with genuine connections, or for people who have a hard time being their authentic self, sometimes when you show up as you and people like the sincere you, that puts a target on your back. So I find that if I know that somebody really has that kind of animosity for me, I do try to work it out. I do try to be agreeable, but if there's no way to be at peace with that person other than them just always having their foot on my neck, always disrespecting me, running up on me in public, or whatever it is that they plan on doing, because that really has happened to me, where people run up on me in public and just talk reckless in public situations, like on video. So, that's a little bit rough, and you can't really allow that. You do have to stand your ground sometime. You do have to demand respect. Like for example, I have this big issue with people, like people who will go out of their way to tell you what their title is, but won't honor your title. They won't honor anything about you. You can have the same title as them. They will force people to use their title, but then neglect to use yours. I kind of feel like that's messed up. So I feel like if you can't call me by my name, which is a basic situation, if you can't call me by my name, then we're not friends, and I'm not really working with you anymore until you learn how to give me just like basic respect. So that's one thing. Then another thing is, sometimes you allow people very close into your personal space, and you feel like, oh, I would do anything for this person. I'm their number one cheerleader. Whatever you need, I'm there for you. Wherever you want to go, I got your back. You need someone to carry signs. You need someone to make signs. You need someone, whatever it is that you need, I got you. Whatever you're interested in, I will support you 110%. And you think that if you go out and you support people 110%, you would at least expect that they could come and support you 60%. Like, really, if I give you 100%, 110% support, why is it you can't even show up with 60, 50, 40, 30%? There's just no reciprocity whatsoever. And I began to realize some of the people that I would go the longest and the hardest for don't do the same for me. Not only do they not do the same for me, but they go out of their way to be a distraction. They go out of their way to frustrate what you're doing. And I told a story yesterday about my son when he was doing PAL basketball and he was scoring lots of points every game. And he was riding in the car with one of his best friends and my godbrother's son. So 3 of the boys were in the backseat of the car, and they have been close friends for a long time. So on the way to the game, my son says, "Oh, I'm going to score some ridiculous amount of points." He said he was going to score. But in his mind, it was doable that he was going to score all these points. So my godbrother's son was like, "Yeah, you could do it, Ray. You could do it, Ray." But his other friend said, "You're not going to be able to do it." He said, "Because I'm not going to pass you the ball." We all have all kinds of friends in life. There are some friends when you say, "You know what, this is what I plan on doing," they will support you 110%. There are other friends who act like they'll support you, but at the last minute, they turn back and act like they can't. And then there are some friends who just don't even pretend to act like they would. And I use the term friends loosely because if you wouldn't support me in my hopes and my dreams and my desires, then are you really a friend? And not only do you not want to support me, but you become a distraction. So I got a friend in my life now, and I really thought they were my friend, but now I'm not delusional anymore. I know we're not friends, but I really thought we were friends, and I thought that I got your back and you have my back. But in all things, I realized this person is really not my friend, and that whatever chance or opportunity this person has to humiliate me or to make me feel low about myself, or to be like, "Oh, like I think I'm a good person." But when I deal with this person, if there's a conflict, they always side with somebody else. I'm always the person who's in the wrong. I'm always the bad person. I'm always the person that has to change. And I realize people like that, they're really not your friend. If every time something happens, they feel like you're wrong. If every time something happens, they're telling you what you're not. That if you have an accomplishment that you're happy about, and you start telling people, "Well, I'm really glad that I accomplished this, that, or the third." And then what they do is act like what you did or what you accomplished is really nothing. So today, as I said, I went over to the Bear Mountain Bridge, and on my way back, I decided that, I like my hair. I like my outfit. I'm going to stop at the bridge, and I'm going to take some pictures. So I took out my iPad, and I took out my stand, and I started taking pictures of the bridge. So when I'm there taking pictures, this girl came with her camera and she was like, "You know what? I'll take pictures of you. Do you mind?" And I was like, "No problem." So I had my iPad, which I use for ministry all the time, on the stand while she was taking pictures. And the pictures were coming out really good. Then all of a sudden, the wind blew. So when the wind blew, it toppled over my stand, and my iPad hit the ground face first. Man, oh man, when my iPad hit the ground face first, everybody in the area stopped what they were doing. It seemed like we all gasped together, held our breath, and waited for me to go over to check on my iPad. So I go over there to check on my iPad. I pick it up, and the screen looks shattered. And I do mean it looks shattered. So the girl, I didn't even know her, the girl who was taking the picture, she was like, "Oh no." She was like, "Rub your hand along it." She said, "If you could feel it, it's probably just your screen protector and not your screen." So she reminded me of something, is that I had protection, that my iPad might actually be all right. It looks like it's shattered, but it's really not. So she gave me some kind of hope. And then I said, well, I'm going to go straight to the mall, to get this screen protector off so I can figure out what's going on with my iPad. But it also made me think of something, that even sometimes in your life, when you look broken and you look shattered and it seemed like, oh man, the things that are happening to you is happening publicly, and people are gasping, and people can't believe what they're seeing, and they're like holding their breath to see if everything is going to be all right. I have to remember that I'm not out here by myself, that I'm out here, that I'm protected, that God has a hedge of protection around me. And sometimes things really do look bad. Sometimes you do fall flat on your face. Sometimes it does look like you're shattered. Sometimes it does look like you're not going to make it. But you have to remember that you have a God that loves you and he protects you. And you have a God that says all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So I just want to encourage you today that no matter what you're going through and no matter how bad it looks, you have a God that loves you. You have a God that's working it out on your behalf. He knows your beginning from your end. Everybody might look at what you're going through and be like, that's it. It's over for her. She's not going to be able to make it. She's not able to pull it back together. But I know a God that, you know what, there's nothing too hard for him. There's nothing that's impossible. And he sees what I'm going through. He knows what I'm going through. And he wants you to see it. He wants you to see how they humiliated me. He wants you to see how they disrespected me. Because you know what? In the end, when he does his great work, in the end, when he allows me to be everything that I'm supposed to be, you're going to realize that I wasn't broken. I wasn't shattered. I was protected. Anyway, that's just my talk for today. Thank you for logging on. I appreciate you.